Hi, this is Paul Lynch from the Tank Modeler channel regarding my build from Russiar for the International Scale Modeler, and which is the SIG that finishes at the end of this month. I've only got a few days to finish it off, which I'm right near the end now anyway. So what was the problem? Now I don't know if anyone's heard of frosting, and I don't mean silvering around the edge of a decal. I'm talking about frosting when you use varnish, and it seems to happen when the humidity is wrong, or if you overdo your varnishing with the varnish. And it's a Vallejo varnish I'm talking about. Now I did semi-gloss the vehicle before I put the decals on, and then once the decals on, using the Vallejo sletting and fixing solutions, everything worked really well. The decals really snuggled down over the actual painting that I'd actually done, texturing I'd done over the turret, no problem. So then I thought, well, now I've got a matte varnish out now to bring it back to the colour that you can see now. What I did is last night I sprayed a good coat, it must have been too heavy, over the vehicle, both the turret and the body, obviously separately, like I do on these little clamps, one for the turret. And what happened is I ended up with a white tank. And when I say white, I mean you can faintly see the green through it, but it was mainly white everywhere. Everywhere got white. It just looked terrible, and it's called frosting. And so I tried to do a search last night to find out if I could there's any remedy for it. And the only site I found, and sorry I can't remember the person who said it, but it was to do with the figures, the figure painting. And what he said is when it's happened to him before, and it's to do with humidity, he re-varnished the next morning after it dried, and then gave it some heat from a bulb, and it actually revitalised the paint and put it back to clear, and it worked really well for him. Now I tried that, and to be honest I ended up with a whiter tank. In fact it would have made the perfect snow Js7, because that's what it looked like. It's like a bit of frost or a bit of snow layer all over it. Now I was concerned then, because I thought, well, I've lost this build, I've got a long way into it and I lost the build, but I hadn't. So by a bit of luck I decided to try something. So the paint, the second coat of varnish I put on today was put on lightly this morning, and it went whiter like I said, but it was still hadn't completely cured. So I had to figure something. So I cleaned the airbrush out, filled it up with thinners, just pure Vallejo thinners, and I really did go to town swamping the model with the Vallejo thinners. Obviously still separately, the turret and the vehicle separately, and obviously we can get everywhere, and I swamped it. And to be honest, I started to notice a difference straight away as it was varnish. The thinners was evaporating. It had revitalised the paint and got through it and broke up into the paint, the actual thinners, the actual varnish coat, and started to bring back the colour. And to be honest, all I did then is a quick another light coat over the top, and the result I got now is this. My only issue is, and it's a silly one, is the fact that I never did actually photograph the vehicle when it was white, and I wish I had now. If it ever happens to me in the future, God forbid, but if it ever happens to me in the future, I will photograph it and show you what I mean. But anyway, as you can see, I've gone back to now to more or less exactly where I was before I got the frosting. You can see my headlights now looking quite nice now. Really good. I don't know why I can zoom in on that, because I'm quite pleased with the headlights, the way they came out. There you go. I won't go any further because I think it goes out of focus. So anyway, so there it is. So if you want to get rid of frosting on Vallejo, after using Vallejo varnishes, the best thing you can do is try to overspray it with the varnish again to see if it sort of revitalises the original coat and mingles in and gets rid of the frosting effect. Or do as I did, respray it a second time, wait to see if it goes white. If it goes whiter, which mine did, then clean your airbrush out, throw in some thinners, Vallejo thinners, and swamp it. And I do mean wet it. I mean there was a couple of puddles in places. It does evaporate pretty quickly, and remember I had a satin varnish on below that, so I was still protected on most of my base coat anyway. But it did, as you can see, put the model back into a position where I can actually say that I'm happy with it, back to where it was. So as you can see, everything's more or less back to where it was. But now I've got the decals protected as well, ready for the next stage, which will be the weathering stage. Very light, like I said, because this vehicle was meant to have been come out of the workshop. It's sitting outside waiting to go for its first run, but they've put the parade insignias on either side of the turret because it was meant to be going for a parade before it was actually fully tested, after it was done its first basic test runs. Anyway, that's my little take on it. So tonight and tomorrow I'll be going around all these machine guns and giving them their coat of paint, along with what else is it, putting the guards on tonight. I'll be putting those on because they've been done in the same coat. They had frosting as well, but nothing got away with the frosting, even the machine gun that's sitting on top. But thankfully I'm back to green and it's looking mean. I do like it now, so good dead. So this was just, I put this, Switcher suggested I do this video and I've decided he was right, because I think he thought I was talking about the actual decals being silver, and it wasn't the decals, they wasn't affected. It was the whole tank that was actually had this frosting effect. Now it's really nice if you want a vehicle that's been out in the cold and it's on a frosty morning, but I didn't want that. I wanted a green vehicle. So that is my way of getting around that. The frosting effect, that's what they call it, the varnish frosting effect, was to swamp it again after giving it a second coat of matte varnish to see if I could clear it, and before it, don't give it time to settle overnight, just go straight back in afterwards with thinners, neat thinners, and spray it over the vehicle. My vehicle has now gone back to, as I said, the colour I wanted in the beginning. And originally I said 90% back to green, but now I'm looking at it more under light as well. I think I got it back to nearly 99%. And I can see very faint shading of it, but nothing much to worry about. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I hope this little tip on frosting will help anyone who's using Vallejo paints. Now I don't know whether it works with other paints, but it definitely does with Vallejos. When you get frosting caused by the matte varnish being either applied too thickly or the area you're spraying in is too humid. Mine was case of, I think, over the top spraying. I just went in a bit too heavy. Anyway, learnt my lesson, and thankfully I didn't actually pay for it. I got it back to as of where I wanted it. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching, and oh, I can say one thing. I've got an update coming up shortly on my comment. I've gone a little bit further. I might even actually do it now, actually. Right, no I won't. I'll save that for a separate video because it makes more sense. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.